In this episode, we'll be talking about all the Zerg buildings. Almost all buildings are large and have one armor. I'll be noting the exceptions as we come to them. Most Zerg buildings can only be placed on creep. All Zerg buildings will slowly regenerate health over time if damaged, just like Zerg units do. Hatcheries spawn larvae over time. The larvae wander randomly nearby. Each hatchery will only spawn up to 3 larvae. You have to morph some of the larvae into something else before the hatchery will spawn more. Hatcheries spread creep around themselves. Hatcheries do not have to be placed on creep, they can go anywhere, subject to the restriction that you can't put them too close to minerals or to gas. You can always build hatcheries. Hatcheries have a select larva button. If you click this button, you will select all the larvae that are associated with this hatchery. You will not select all the larvae on your screen or all the larvae you own. In addition to making larvae, the hatchery researches the ability for Zerg ground units to burrow, and it provides you with one supply. The hatchery can be upgraded into a lair, which unlocks new technology once you own a spawning pool. You need a spawning pool in order to research the lair upgrade. Upgrading to a lair increases the hatchery's maximum health. Lairs can also research upgrades for overlords, which hatcheries cannot. Once you've built a queen's nest, a lair can be upgraded into a hive, which unlocks the final tier of Zerg technology. The hive upgrade increases the building's maximum health again on top of what the lair upgrade provided. Upgrading to a lair or a hive does not change larva spawn rate. This means you generally only make one lair and then upgrade it into one hive in each game, just to unlock the technology restrictions. If you need more larvae, build more hatcheries. The spawning pool allows Zerglings to be morphed from larvae. It also allows sunken colonies to be morphed from creep colonies, and hatcheries to be morphed into lairs. The spawning pool also researches Zergling upgrades. You need to own a hatchery in order to build a spawning pool. The extractor can only be built on a gas geyser. It allows drones to harvest gas. You can always build an extractor. The evolution chamber researches weapon and armor upgrades for Zerg ground units. It allows creep colonies to be morphed into spore colonies. You need to have a hatchery in order to build evolution chambers. The creep colony is a building which spreads creep nearby, although it can only be built on creep itself. Creep colonies themselves provide no further benefits, though they can be morphed into static defense structures. Creep colonies have 0 points of armor, unlike most buildings which have 1. You can always build creep colonies. Creep colonies can be morphed into sunken colonies once you own a spawning pool. Sunken colonies deal explosive damage against nearby ground-based enemies. Sunken colonies have 2 armor, more than the usual 1, and they also have only 300 maximum health, which is less than the creep colony they are morphed from, which has 400 maximum health. Creep colonies can also be morphed into spore colonies once you own an evolution chamber. Spore colonies deal normal damage against nearby enemy air units. They're also detectors. Spore colonies have 0 points of armor. Sunken and spore colonies continue to spread creep, like the creep colony they were morphed from. Although you can morph a creep colony into a spore colony or a sunken colony, you can choose either one, you can't turn a sunken colony or a spore colony back into either of those other forms. Once it's morphed, it's like that forever. The Hydralisk Den enables you to build Hydralisks, and contains Hydralisk upgrades. It also contains the upgrade which allows Hydralisks to morph into lurkers, although you can only research this upgrade once you have a lair. The Hydralisk Den can only be built once you own a spawning pool. The Spire allows you to make basic Zerg air units. Mutalisks, and Scourge. The spire also contains weapon and armor upgrades for Zerg air units. You can only build a spire once you own a lair. You can upgrade a spire into a greater spire once you own a hive. Possession of a greater spire allows Mutalisks to morph into higher tier Zerg flyers. Those are Guardians and Devourers. The Queen's Nest allows you to build queens and unlocks some and contains upgrades to unlock some of their abilities. The Queen's Nest is also needed in order to morph a lair into a hive. You can only build a Queen's Nest if you already own a lair. The Nidus Canal building allows you to move units between two locations very quickly. You build your first Nidus Canal in the normal way using a drone. Then, the finished Nidus Canal building will have a command which you use to select another location to build another Nidus Canal building, which will be linked to the first one. Once both canals are finished, ground units you move into one of the Nidus Canals will vanish and appear outside the other Nidus Canal. These two canals remain linked as a pair for as long as they survive. If either of the Nidus Canals in a pair is destroyed, its partner immediately self-destructs too. You can make as many Nidus Canal buildings as you like, but each remains connected only to the other canal that it created. Each new Nidus Canal you make is one more pair of connected endpoints separate from the other canals. You can't make a single large network where every Nidus Canal is an exit to every other Nidus Canal. You have to remember which canal connects to which canal yourself. You must own a hive in order to build a Nidus Canal. The Defiler Mound allows you to build defilers and contains upgrades for defilers. To build a Defiler Mound, you must own a hive. The Ultralisk Cavern allows you to build Ultralisks and contains upgrades for Ultralisks. To build an Ultralisk Cavern, you must own a hive. That is all of the buildings that the Zerg race have access to.